Welcome into this edition of Red Devil Roundup. I'm Jared Revlett, Public Information Officer for Owensboro Public Schools, and I'm joined now by the boys lacrosse coach, Matthew Mady. And Coach Matt, tell us a little bit about the guys out here practicing, getting ready for the upcoming season on a cold afternoon.
It is a chilly one today. We're planning on starting in early March. Lacrosse is a spring sport, so we run roughly from March to May. We'll end up with about 18 kids this year. You play 10 on the field at a time, but the substitutions are done on the fly like they are in hockey, so you have a lot of conditioning and need that extra sub base to work in and out of the game on a regular basis.
So going into the second full season of the boys lacrosse program here at Owensboro High School, and talk a little bit about the learning curve of getting some of these guys involved in lacrosse that hadn't typically been a sport that's well known here in the community.
Well, the neat thing is the athletic qualities in lacrosse carry over in a lot of other sports. So we have kids that this is their second, third sport they're playing. We have some that focus particularly on lacrosse. The learning curve's steep, and you have to kind of approach it with the growth idea that you're going to be picking something up that's pretty new, obviously, and that you have to be willing to accept the mistakes and to understand that learning is coming out of those. And we've been very competitive for how new we are. We participate in the lacrosse conference in Evansville, the Hoosier Southern Lacrosse Conference, and went to the finals in our division last year. So even though it's new, we have the athletes and the kids that are willing to work and put in the time that we've done pretty well for a young program.
You mentioned, lacrosse, one of the fastest growing sports in the country right now. But right now, there's not a whole lot of teams outside of here, Bowling Green, and Evansville. So talk a little bit about that conference you mentioned over in Evansville, how that works out, and some of the teams you played throughout the season.
Sure. According to the National Federation for High Schools, it's the fastest growing team sport in the United States. The problem is in Kentucky, west of, say, Bowling Green, we are it in terms of lacrosse in western Kentucky. And there's a neat factor associated with that, but there's also a lot of logistical issues. We, in the Hoosier Southern Lacrosse Conference, play all the other Evansville area schools that have boys teams, which now is basically everyone, maybe outside of Boonville High School, I think has a boys team now. We only play a couple of teams in Kentucky because of the travel considerations. Anderson County has been kind enough to come out here. This will be the second year they've done that. We're playing North Hardin from over in the Elizabethtown area this year. But our attention just right now from a practical consideration is focused west towards Evansville right now. As the game grows and maybe we get some more teams in Davis County and between, say, here and Bowling Green, I think our focus will naturally shift east. But the Evansville programs have been very good to us, and I wouldn't want to give up that relationship because they've been a big help.
So with lacrosse, unlike some sports like soccer, baseball, basketball that are here in the community where kids start to play at an early age, some of these kids aren't being introduced until about 5th or 6th grade as part of a program part of a grant that you put together to have some of that over at the 5-6 center area. Talk a little bit about getting these kids introduced to lacrosse and then having them come up to play here at the high school level.
Well, there's been a lot of research suggests lacrosse in the United States, particularly out in this part of the country, is a sport that kids don't pick up really young like they may with soccer or t-ball or something like that. So a lot of the research has suggested that once you can get a stick in their hands, that there's a lot of kids that will end up carrying on and actually end up playing. The whole idea behind that is that we were able to get a grant in the 5-6 center and to be able to tie that in so that kids can actually get used to playing and get a stick in their hand, and hopefully we'll see that carry into once they get into 9th, 10th grade.
And with lacrosse being one of the fastest growing sports, I know a lot of colleges and universities at all levels are introducing new lacrosse programs to their athletic organizations. Talk about some of those opportunities that creates for these guys as they go into the college ranks.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, Kentucky has 2 Division III schools, Transient Center, that have lacrosse programs. Bellarmine in Louisville is a Division I program that not a lot of people know about. But as schools have started to add, particularly at the Division III level, lacrosse teams, it's an opportunity for kids to maybe end up playing in college and get involved with the sport that they can carry into the long term, and also maybe help get them an education, which is really why we're here to begin with, of course.
So going into the second full season, what are some of your goals for this young team this year?
It's really all about teaching. We're just trying to get them to accept the fact that they're walking into something that it'd be no different than taking a bunch of 9th graders and handing them a football that they've never seen before and saying, all right, we're going to go out and play. There's going to be mistakes. You got to accept that, and the attitude that we work with and we've really tried to cultivate here culturally is to really accept that and to buy into it, that ultimately we can grow. And my vision's 20 years down the road, not necessarily what our results will be in May.
Well, the guys are out here working hard already, and we're going to get a chance to talk to them here in just a few minutes. But thank you for taking the time to join us, and we wish you the best this season.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you all taking the time to be out here. Thanks.
Joined now by senior lacrosse player Stephen Cooper. And Stephen, it's a cold day out here. It's in the off season, getting geared up for the start of the year. You excited about this upcoming season?
Oh yeah, starts in about a month. March 3rd at not Henderson, Owensboro North.
All right, so it'll be your second full season at the lacrosse program. But my understanding is you've been with the program since day one. What's it been like helping get a program up off the ground and being one of those first people to be a part of it?
It's been good. It's just been a long process getting through all the cold days. It's during the winter most practices are, and it's just fun. I come out here and enjoy it. That's pretty much it.
Talk a little bit about why you wanted to play lacrosse. I mean, when was the first time you heard about the sport, and what made you want to get involved?
I got a little mini set of lacrosse sticks for Christmas one year, and it's just been something I've always enjoyed. Go outside, destroy the backyard fence. I mean, it's just fun. No really true competition right now because we're just trying to get started. We're trying to make it where we'll eventually get there, like football, basketball, track, stuff like that.
So this being your second season here with the lacrosse team, what are some of your goals for the upcoming year?
500 record.
500 record. And what position do you play on the lacrosse team?
Long stick, midfield in general.
So talk to me a little bit about what some of the roles you play in that position. I'm not real familiar with lacrosse. So what does being a long stickman mean on the lacrosse team?
Long stick midfield is a 6-foot pole that goes both ways. So you're scoring and you're playing defense.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about what you've learned playing lacrosse over the past couple of years, being a relatively new sport here, and you being a part of that first squad to come through and play.
Patience, control, agility, hand-eye coordination, strength, conditioning, a lot of conditioning.
It can be tough, but out here when it's nice and cold, that's what keeps you warm.
No.
No, not so much. What's it mean to you to be one of the people who helped found this program, being one of the first guys to pick up a stick and be a member of the Owensboro lacrosse team?
It'll just be one of those things to go back to. I mean, there's not very many people that get to say I was the first of something. I mean, unless you found a new company, that's pretty much it.
Well, it's certainly something really cool to be a part of, and wish you all the best of luck this season, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Joined now by the goalie for the boys lacrosse team, Davis Blunt. And Davis, thanks for joining us here this afternoon. It's a cold day, but you're out there in the goal just deflecting shots all afternoon. Talk a little bit about this practice here in the off season.
It's just mainly practicing wind meals and watching the ball and positioning and all that good stuff. Just practicing feet work and hand movements.
So here in the off season, getting geared up, you're about a month away from the start of the season, but it's got to be excited to have all the guys back out on the field and finally start getting back to work.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see everybody out here and be practicing again. During the summer we practice on and off again, but it's not like the season.
And you're the goalie, and I know that's one of the toughest positions to play on the field. You're the one responsible for keeping the ball out of the net. And talk a little bit about, when you're playing lacrosse, sometimes the speed of that ball can get up to, close to 100 miles an hour sometime with a real good player. What's it like fielding some of those shots coming at you on a regular basis?
Definitely a little nervous whenever I first started out, but now I've gotten a little more used to it. It still hurts a lot whenever I get hit with one, but you gotta take it sometimes.
You're not wearing a whole lot of padding. You got the old chest protector like a catcher, but that's about it. And those balls are pretty hard. They're about as hard, if not harder, than a baseball.
Yeah, it definitely sucks sometimes, especially when I get hit in the leg or the wrist or something. But I've gotten used to it over the years, and it's always nice to wake me up when it's cold outside.
So you're a junior on this lacrosse team, but you've been playing for several years, but now going into the second full season of play here. What talk a little bit about the past couple of years and what it's been like to be one of the guys that has helped start this lacrosse program here at Owensboro High School.
It's definitely it was really cool to see all the guys last year graduate that started out my freshman year and see them come through and all of us play together. And it's always nice to see some guys I've seen in the hallways and some of the lower classmen come out and play.
And here in the second season, you're playing a lot of teams from a lot of different areas, and it's not like a normal sport with the KHSCA. You're playing some teams from Evansville across the river, some guys from down in Bowling Green. What's it like playing some of those schools that some of the other sports don't necessarily get to see on a regular basis?
It's definitely fun to go out and on the bus trips and go to Evansville and those areas and play those guys, because some of those schools are really big schools and have a really diverse team of sports. It's always cool to meet new guys and always play lacrosse.
So what made you want to get into lacrosse? It's not necessarily a sport that kids grow up with around here, but it's a program that's been started here at the high school, and now you're one of the first. So what made you want to start playing?
Definitely something to do during the off season of football. Come out here, basketball and basically hockey mixed together, and it's always fun to always get to hit people and throw the ball around.
So talk a little bit about how playing lacrosse helps you on the football field and vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. Like the defensive positioning is a lot. It's a lot like gets me thinking more strategically. Definitely out in football or something. I've caught myself looking like out in the more openly.
And now here in your second year, what are some of your goals for this upcoming season?
Definitely not get hit a lot, block some more shots, and win some games.
All right. Well, good luck to you this year, and thanks for stopping by and having a chat with us for a minute.
No problem. Nice talking to you too.